So hello guys, in today's video we are going to solve missing number, that is LeetCode 268, and let's solve it. We are going to solve missing numbers, and this is the given array, that is ARR is equal to 1, 2, 4, 5. And what we need to do is we have to find the missing number. We know that in the array we must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we need to find the missing number, that is 3. Okay, so this may be given in the sorted order or maybe unsorted, that we don't have to consider here. Only we need to find missing number because the array element can be in any order. So what is the first thing that you need to see? So the first thing that you need to do is, in a brute force solution, uh, is you can do like you can run a for loop. Like you can pick up the any element like this, and what you can do is uh, first let take the array int I is equal to 0, I less than n, and I plus plus. We know that this is the array given and the length of it would be 4, right? But actually the element inside it, because 0 will not be there, so actually the element inside would be is the length plus 4, the length plus 1 elements. So what is the value? 5. So we will have a value from 0 to 5 in this particular array, right? That's why it is given from 1 to 5, and we have to decide from 1 to 5 which number is the missing. So what we need to do is we have to find from 1 to length plus 1, that is it really in the array itself or not. So what we can do is we can run a loop from 1 to what I have told you, length plus 1. So this is the length plus 1, and you can put here equal to my pen. Okay, so I have another pen. So let's write it in a fresh order. So O int I is equal to from 1 to length plus 1. Since we consider length as n, so I would go to less than is equal to n plus 1 and I plus 1 plus. So what it will do is, it will simply, I will go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what you can do is, here inside this particular loop, you can say that now this loop is only for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will only like run it the whole time. But what you actually do is, you can use another loop that will point to this particular element. So j would be from 0th index, because now we need to access the element, so we need indexes. So j would go to 0 from j less than index length, which is length, and j plus plus. And what we need to do is, we need to check that whether this one is present in the loop, right? Because if this one will be present here, then we said that it is present. So move forward, again check 2. We again start checking in the entire array. Is 2 is present? Yes, 2 is present. We now move to 3 and check, is 3 present in the loop? 1, 2, 4, 5. Oh, 3 is not present. So so we can find the missing element. So what we can do is, this loop is for traversing into this elements, and this is to travel into array elements, so that you can check whether this number are in the array or not. So if I is equal to what you can say, in the array ARR of j, because j is traversing in it. So you check that at any particular point the array element is same as this. So you can say that flag is equal to, maybe you can say it like 1, that yeah, it is present. You can declare it also like flag is equal to initially 0. 0 means it is not present, and 1 means present. And as soon as you find this particular element, you can also break, because after that you don't need to find another, because there will be no duplicate element, because everything is there, only one missing value is there. So we can break it out from there, and at the last we can check that if the flag value is like 0. So what we can say, if the flag is 0, we have not founded the element in the array. So from here, what we can do is, we can say that return I, that this is the index, or whatever you need to do, return or store, whatever, you can do that here, and then you can say that for loop is exited. So this is a particular brute solution. So this is okay. So let's talk about the first brute solution. So it is, first we have taken, like, the main thing was we have to take two arrays, and I would be initially 0 I less than the length, and I plus plus int n would be arr dot length, and it would be equal to, and it start from 1, and inside it what we need to do is we need to check whether this particular element is present in the array or not. So we can check here what we need to do, since the length was 4. Okay, we will try it, and inside it you can say as like int flag would initially be 0, and if at some point the I equals to the arr of j, then at that point you say that flag is equal to 1, and you can break out from there, and after that you check that if flag value is still 0, then you say that yes, it is my element, and after that if you have not found, then you can simply return -1 over there. So let's try to run it and see how exactly it is running. Okay, so yeah, because it is correct, but giving your time limit exceeded, because it took a lot of time to run that particular code, right? So that's why we get an time limit error. But let's try it out the better solution, since it will not give you this particular thing. So the better solution, so what I have said you, what I have told you, like, is you take it as 1 2 4 5, and what you were doing, you are traversing, like, you were using two for loop that uses a almost I would it is an on time, and this is also an on time, so this whole becomes big of n square, and this is the time complexity, and space complexity is 1, because we are using constant spaces like variables, so there is no space we are using, but inside this better we will use some space and try to reduce the time complexity of it, right? So we have this particular array that is given to us, and what we need to do is we just also try to take an temp array that will tell you that whether it is present or not, since it like, till where the element range would go from 1 to length plus 1, you know it, right? 1 to n plus 1. So in the same temp array, what we need to do is we need to declare n plus 1 length array. So n is 4 plus 1 5, so 5 length array. Okay, so let's declare it. So 1 2 3 0 0 0 0 0. So here what you actually need to do, you like take, if it is a length 5, then you need to take 6 elements inside it, right? So that you can mark everyone that whether it is present or not. Since indexing start from 0th element, that's why we need to take an extra element. So now what we can do is we can iterate in the array and mark the temp array that yeah, it is present. So we take the ith pointer to 1, so we say that 1 is present, so you go to that 1th index and say that yeah, it is present. Now move forward, I goes to 2, you go to 2 index and say that yeah, it is present. Again you move forward to 4th, you say that yeah, 4th is present, so mark it as true or 0 1, whatever you can take. I move forward 5, so 5 index also would be 1. Now in this particular array, you can see there after 0, don't need to consider 0. After 0, just check which element has a like 0th value, because if someone has zero value, that means it is not present in the array. So you can use a normal for loop that will iterate from 1, not from 0, since 0 do not need to take in here, but since array index start from 0, that's why we need to take. So you can start the loop from 1 and goes to whatever this temp index. Let's suppose it is m. And what you can do is that if the ARR of I, or sorry, temp, whichever temp element is 0, you can do it like return I, that you have found the index where which one is the missing element. So this is the better solution. We can move to the code and see how exactly it works. And we need to take in the better solution the temp array, and we need to initialize a temp array with value like int, and the size would be n plus 1. Okay, and after that what we need to do is we just need to iterate over the array, and whichever element are in the array we just mark it as 1 in the temp array, right? So just go to temp of ARR of I and just mark it as 1, and after that you have marked everyone that is in the array. So now you need to find which element is not in the array. So again you need to take a loop that will start from 1, since 0 is not an element and we do not have to compare 0. That's why we are starting from 1. So we have started from 1 and we will go to the last element, that is I should be less than n and I plus plus, and in that particular thing we can say that if temp of I comes out to be 0, which means you have found the missing element, that is the ith element, right? ith, yes, ith element. Okay, and if you have not found, you can simply return -1. And now let's try this, if there is any error or something. So as you can see here, for some cases it is right, but for some it is giving me an error. So let's see how we can resolve it. Okay, only for 0 and 1. Okay, 0 also be there. What we need to do here? Okay, so we have found the mistake. Instead there n, it is of more length, that why it is giving an like wrong answer. So we need to take temp.length here, because in this particular like for loop we need to traverse in this, since this has an element n plus 1, that's why it was giving me an like wrong case. Let's again try this and find out solution. You can say every case is now perfectly working fine. That is, you take in an empty array and you mark. So now let's see how exactly the optimal solution work for it, right? Since we have given this particular array 1, 2, 4, 5. So in the optimal solution, there are two optimal solution. First one is using AP and second one is using XOR. I will tell you both. First one is using AP. As you know, we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we will be given an array in which only one element will not be there. So what you can think that we need to have this, because you need to find missing element and everything is present. So if you find the total sum of it, like 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, and plus 5 15. This is 15, that is normal. You can say that from 1 to the last element, or you can say n plus 1, that is 5. So there are 5 elements there and their sum is 15, but actually in the given array you will have one element missing. So also try to sum it here. So 1 plus 2, that is 3, 3 plus 4 7, 7 plus 5 is what? 12. Okay, So you got that sum here, it is 12, and in general you try to use AP and find the sum, it is coming to be 15. So what you can do is sum 1 is equal to this and sum 2 will be calculated from the original array, and and sorry, and at the end what you need to do is you just say that sum 1 minus sum 2. So this will give you the value like 15 minus 12, that is value 3, and which was the missing element. Because in general, if you see, if we get sum of this all element, it is coming out to be 15, and if we sum it all there, it is coming out to be 12. And since it is the concept that you need to find the missing number, that's why we use this particular concept to find the missing number. So the code will be simple, like initially you need to calculate this particular sum. So you don't need to take a for loop for this, since you know the AP formula, that is sum is equal to n plus 1 by 2. You can use that. This is the length of the array, that is 5 into 5 plus 1 by 2, that is 5 into 4 by 2, actually 6. So it got cut. 5 into 3, 15. You can say that this 15 and this 15 is same. So we can use this formula and directly find out the sum of it, because it is an AP, arithmetic progression. So we got this, and iteratively we can find the sum of it. So let's check out the pseudocode, how exactly it will work. So initially sum will be n into n plus 1 by 2, and you need to traverse in the array. I will be from 0 to I less than n, I plus plus, and another sum 2 plus equal to, or you can say equal to, ARR of I plus sum 2, because in itself we need to add, and at the end you need to subtract from it. So sum minus sum 2 that you need to return. So this is also a particular optimal solution, and I will show you both of the code at once in when we were coding. So so the optimal solution is, we have seen like the first using mathematics AP formula. So first we need to find out the length of the array, that is ARR dot length, and then what we were doing, we were calculating the sum, that is equal to n into n plus 1 and whole divided by 2. So you can do it like this and you will get the proper sum. And I think since it was 4, that's why, okay, we will try, and if maybe if we get an error, we will try to resolve it. So we have found the sum of the original sum. Now let's traverse in the array and find the sum of array elements. So traverse in the array, the sum 2 plus equal to the ARR of I, and we need to declare sum 2, that is int sum 2 would be initially 0, and after that at the end we need to return sum minus sum 2. Let's try it out, is working or not. Yeah, it is also working. First we find out the sum using the actual AP formula, and then we found out the array sum, and at the end we subtracted them. So this was the particular optimal solution, and it has a time complexity of big O of n, because you are just traversing once and you are calculating it, and the space complexity is big O of 1 because you are storing constant things. So time complexity is big O of n and space complexity is 1. Now move. Let's see the second optimal solution using XOR operation. So using XOR operation, what you can do is, so using XOR, what currently we see that 1, 2, 4, 5 was the array, and what we were doing, we were creating something same like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And that's why we were calculating AP of it and calculating the sum, and we were subtracting it. But in the XOR operation, we know XOR operation, if we do on same element, like if we do 3 XOR 3, it will give me a like 0, right? Or maybe I think yeah, it gives 0. So if we XOR same element, it gives 0. And if we again do a XOR of 3, then it gives us 3. So it gives us 3. So what we can do is we can use the same concept. First we will XOR all of this element and we find the XOR 1, and from this XOR 2. Actually the concept is if you XOR these two element, it would be cancelled. If you XOR these two, it would be cancelled. If you XOR these element, but since it is not in the array, it will remain as 3. And then if you XOR this element, this 4 cancel, this will also be cancelled. And after that, what you will get, the same element which are present in both of them will be cancelled, and only the unique element that is missing will be present over there. So first we need to find the XOR of this all element, and after that we need to calculate XOR of this element. Since we cannot do it directly, like as I have shown you only to explain, but we can only do by iteratively in an array. So first we will calculate XOR of this all element, and then we will XOR this all element, and the same element would be cut out from it, and only this particular 3 will remain in the XOR value. So we iteratively, first loop will go from I0 to I less than n, and I plus plus, that will do a XOR of array element, and second loop for like in general values, like from I to less than equal to n plus 1 and I plus plus, because we need to consider that this is not an array, it is the general thing that we are doing. So for this also we need to take XOR plus equal to XOR 2, you can say that, and I directly I, and at the end you can say that XOR 1, XOR 2, and this will give you the missing element. I will show you in the code, it will be more clear to you. So let's move on to the code and see how actually it will work. Now let's check out the XOR solution, that is using XOR. So in using XOR, what I have told you that you need to take the XOR of every element, right? So in this particular method you need to traverse 2 times. First the in the I itself, because you need to find first the actual XOR and the XOR from the array element. So first let's find out the actual XOR value. So I would go from 1 to n plus 1, and that is equal to, and I plus plus, and XOR will be XOR and symbol and I. Okay, and let's declare the XOR, that is int XOR would be initially 0, and after that we need to find the another XOR element. So this will now traverse in the loop. So this loop will be normal, like 0 to less than n and I plus plus, and also if you can take it here, XOR 2 would be 0, and after that you just need to take as XOR 2 would be XOR 2 and XOR of ARR of I. So we are doing XOR initially to find out the original value, and after that the array values, that what is the exact value, and at the end you need to just XOR both of them and it will give you the exact result. So maybe it may be confusing for people who don't know how actually XOR works. So there are lots of video on that, you can like understand it, because it is very simple. And so if you are not getting it properly, you can just take a look at the XOR operation, because it mostly take 5 minutes time. So you can definitely watch it and come here back, because it will like make you more understand about this topic. So you need to know like how we can solve it in different ways. So that's why I'm telling you, and let's also try to run it out and see it is working or not. So okay, it is not working as expected. I think there is some error. Let's try to just See, since we have yeah, since it was actually because of this, so we can say that don't need to go to +1, you can keep it as it is. So yeah, this is a solution, you can submit it out. And yeah, since all of the solution works out fine, even if you do in like every better solution or everything, there is no need to take issue. So I hope you find out the video well, and if you understand something and know some concept, so make sure to hit like, subscribe and share. And thanks for watching this video. We will meet in the next video. If you want to learn more, you can subscribe to the channel also. Bye guys.